record on this computer.
Perfect.
Is it recording?
Yes, it is.
Okay, cool. So let's get started. All right. So you have this page that you've created for the working group. That looks good for the most part. You just need to add a couple of additional items. And then really, I think the next question that you had was actually, how do I get this working group or this page tied here into the active working group? Okay, cool. So let's look at this merge request. Let's see. So I'm going to look for your name. See if we can find it.
Oh, ignore this. I just tried to do something with the job family. I'm not sure if that is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can discuss this probably once we're done with this.
So let's start on a clean slate, and then we can I can walk you through everything. So let's go here. So this is the working group. So what we'll do first is we'll go to the bottom of this page. You don't have to do it this way. This is just one option, but we can go to edit this page.
Mm-hmm.
And what that's going to do is pop up the page that we want to make changes to.
Mm-hmm.
I always like to, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create another branch, but I'm going to go ahead and come up here and copy this URL. I'll tell you why here in a minute. I'm going to paste it into another tab. So we're in the master branch right now. What we want to do is create another branch so we can work separately from the master branch. And we'll just call this internal audit. And what this is going to do is, once I create this branch, it's going to take me to a different page. It's going to take me back all the way to the original, or I guess the GitLab.com file directory, which for me, I have to go back and try to figure out like where I was actually editing that page. So that's why I copy and paste that URL, because now I can come up here and find the branch called internal audit and start working from there. Okay, cool. So what we'll do is we'll go to the web IDE, and this is the page that you want to add. So we can come down here to active working groups, and we can essentially what we're doing here is just hyperlinking this particular page to the active working group section.
Mm-hmm.
So let's call this, what do you want to call this working group? Do you have a name for it?
It's SOX PMO.
SOX PMO. Okay. So why is that?
Or we could say Sarbanes-Oxley implementation.
Okay. So let's just do this. SOX PMO, and then copy this. Okay, so now if we preview the markdown, we should see that we can go here. So like if we open this tab, which is not going to take us to the page that you created right now, because we're not working in the master branch. We're working in the internal audit branch. But it's working. It should be working. Okay, cool. So that looks good. Let's see. What is this? Okay, so this is, so here I think we need to add,
Chase, can I also change this presentation, the Google document here?
yeah, for sure. If you have another Google Doc,
yeah.
If this is not the one that you need, if you could send me the link and I can add it here.
Sure, I'll do that right away.
Let's go back, and I'm gonna go back and see what everybody else's looks like, just to keep it consistent. So really you need to add the business goal and then the exit criteria. So you can just say business goal, exit criteria. And here is where like you would just come in and add a paragraph or a couple of bullet points like it is here to define.
Yeah, I think I can just put this. Can I put the image or picture there? Is that, oops, sorry.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go back. And change this Google Doc out. So this will be what you sent me in Slack. Yeah, and if you can if you want to add an image, we can add an image.
Share it with you.
Okay. Perfect.
Oh, so that image makes it as a business goal, right?
Okay, so you want the image to be the business goal.
Yeah, we can do that.
So let's do this. Let's create a table and we can list out all of these. Let's see. Give me 1 second. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and take a table that I built a while back, and we can just use that. Let's see. Handbook. Hold on 1 second. My mouse stopped working. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So you can actually create markdown tables. I mean, you can add an image. It's probably easier actually, but
can I edit it? Do I have the access?
Do you have access or edit access to the page?
Oh.
So let's estimated. So I'm gonna render this so you can kind of see what it looks like. So we'll add the project phase here. I'll delete all of this right here. We can add the project phase and estimated time of completion. So it'll make it a nice looking table. So we can say preliminary.
And can we also put another line after estimated completion timeline saying actual completion timeline?
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Can I do it?
You can do it, but you would have to create. Yeah, you would have to create like another version of this.
No problem. Go ahead and do
So
it.
yeah, so I'll walk through and do it, and then that way, with the video recording, you'll be able to go back through and update if you need to.
No problem. It's okay. I'm okay with you updating it.
Okay. So let's do that. So you want actual completion timeline or timeline. And all I'm doing here is just adding additional columns and rows to the table.
Yeah.
Should be able to, it'll have all these columns and rows that we can edit.
Awesome.
All right. So creation of SOPs. So are you all recovered from jet lag?
Yes, I did. How about you?
Yeah, it took me a little while. It took me like a week, but I feel good now. That's a hard trip to shake off.
I know.
This becomes in. Hopefully with this, you'll be able to save and watch, because like this is, I mean, all of the stuff that we're doing here is pretty much, at least with the handbook updates, is about as complicated as it gets.
Oh yeah. I wanted to create a page in the handbook for SOX and internal audit too.
All right, so let's take a look and see. So here's the business goals. Let's actually make this goals. Business goals. So this is what it looks like as of right now.
Awesome.
And then exit criteria, do you have anything for that? If not, we can just leave it blank for right now.
Yeah, we can just leave it.
Okay. Let's just say coming soon. And you can update that when you, yeah. Okay, cool. So that, so now you've got this done. You've got the page, the working group page now linking to the page that we just updated.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is what, at least for the working groups, you should be good to go there. So I think the next thing is how to create a job family. Is that correct?
Yeah, and Chase, so I have my working group set up right now, and is this the place where I will do like each, like now that we already have our goals set up, how do I update the status? I remember one of the dashboards which was shared by, I think, Murphy in the earlier meetings, wherein it had kind of dashboards explaining what the current status is and how much is the progress and things like that. So where do we do that? Is it here? I mean, what next after having a working group?
That's a good question. I don't know because I'm as of right now, like I haven't really been involved with the working groups. So it may be something that you can ask somebody that is in the working group, like what that looks like, and then depending on what they say, I mean, if they have a dashboard that's added to the page itself, you can update it there. But yeah, let me know what you find out, and I can help you out with that as well.
Sure. Oh, so we could link a dashboard here.
Yeah, you can definitely link a dashboard. So the way to, and I'll send you.
Create a dashboard?
What type of dash? Like, would the dashboard be in like Google Sheets, or like how is the dashboard being built, or like, how is it being rendered?
Can we create it in Git itself?
Possibly. I think I would have to understand exactly like what you want and kind of like another example of what you've seen, and then if it's in GitLab itself, then we can definitely recreate it. The good thing about it is we can just go to that page and copy it essentially, and then modify it how we need it to look for your group.
Remember during one of our finance meetings, Murphy had shared some kind of dashboard, and I think you also said that you will be working on similar dashboard. I'm not sure if you understood.
Oh, yeah. So I think maybe what you're referring to is let me go here and see if this makes sense. So I've created if we go to the finance repo and then go to boards, I've created an FP&A board that has all of the finance issues related to FP&A labeled out. So I can go and look and figure out like what specific issue is tied to what specific function, whether it be like engineering or G&A, or if it's just general FP&A type work like reporting or planning. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not sure how I'll be using this, but yeah, my execution is going to be something similar like this. I'll be interacting with various stakeholders from finance and some of the folks from IT side, and I'll be getting a lot of information from them, and then have SOPs created specific to their function, and then it's going to be a lot of back and forth, and then finally they'll go ahead and approve that particular SOPs, and the next step would be to create risk control matrix, and I mean, it's interacting with different departments, and so is this something like a repository where I can have all my documents from different divisions here, and at the same time do the follow-up with them and obtain their final approvals here?
Yeah, you definitely can. So at its core, like from a project management level, using issues in GitLab is the best way to communicate a problem that's being worked on. So if you have a particular task that need to be done, and other people are associated with those tasks, you can go in and create an issue, tag those folks, and then you can label that issue. Say it's you're working with somebody from like engineering. You can label that. You can create a label, say like engineering - internal audit, and that way you can start tracking and building these boards out to understand where the particular work that you're doing is falling within these other functional groups. So it all starts with an issue, and then you can label that issue. And by labeling the issue, you can build uh, like an internal audit board out to be able to organize those issues.
Okay. And okay, so once I have this board created, I could link this, reference the link of this particular board, say I have created as internal audit board, into my working group, and that way people can track the status of this particular project, right?
Yes, that's exactly right. And that's the beauty of being able um, to number one, have it in the handbook, and then two, to have it organized in this fashion, because people can just click the handbook link and say, okay, here's the internal audit working board or board where all the issues are being tracked and what's being worked on. So it's a great way to kind of organize all of your work within GitLab.
And does this also kind of give you a report? I mean, all this while I'm very used to getting Excel or PDF kind of reporting. So
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a couple of different ways to do it. So you can create milestones. So you come into here and you can create milestones to be able to see. And a milestone is just like a grouping of issues, and being able to see how many issues are being worked on, how many issues are open, how many issues have been closed. And it's not necessarily a report. There may be some reporting functionality that we can use. I'll have to look into it a little bit more, but essentially you can track. Let's see if I click into here. There's a burn down chart that shows, it's not necessarily a report, but it's a burn down chart to see like how well all of those issues that have been tied to a milestone are tracking.
okay. All right. I mean, I'll think through. And if do you have some time in your calendar? I mean, it's going to be a long process, and I really want to make sure that I do not disturb you all the time. And if that's possible, then we can work together on this project.
Yeah, I think the best way to work on it will be we can get into like a weekly or maybe like a every other week sync, and during that time we can work on issues like this, and that way like we have it scheduled out to where we can meet and tackle these problems. So let's I gotta run to another meeting here in 3 minutes, but let's go back to getting these two pages created. And so I don't have time as of right now to walk through the job families, but maybe we can do that on our next meeting. But it's the same, it's kind of the same concept as what we've just done here. So what I'll do is I'm going to commit these two changes that we made to these pages. And you can just see the changes that were made in this page. Okay, so now we'll go back over here, and we pushed the internal audit branch to GitLab.com, and we're going to create a merge request. And with this merge request, because Paul, I believe, is your manager, he will need to be the one that approves the work that was done. So you can say, Paul, please review changes to SOX working group. And we can come down here and we can see the changes that we made. So we've added this link to be able to link this URL to this page down here. And we've created the business goals and we've added the business goals and exit criteria. So all we need to do now is just submit it. What'll happen from here is there'll be some pipelines that run to do some testing to make sure that we can actually, that everything that we updated will actually merge into our handbook. But what I like to do once I create a merge request is we'll come to, let me just pull this over really quickly. Doesn't that pull over? We can come up here and find finance and just tag Paul to give him a heads up. Please review this MR and approve if changes look good for the working group. And I want to CC you. And so what's happening now is the pipelines are running. Paul will at some point review this, and if he approves it, then it goes into the handbook itself. So really, at this point now, it's up to Paul to be able to merge the changes that we've made, okay. And once he does that, then those changes should be reflective on the handbook itself.
Awesome. I mean, it's a great help. I've been struggling since yesterday.